So today we're working on a grill for a commercial. It came set up for natural gas, methane, and we are converting it to propane. Hello and welcome to Today at the Office. I'm your host Renee Diamante. Today we have the behind the scenes action happening as I convert grill to propane from natural gas for a commercial. We've just unpacked it. It's a Woodstone brand new grill. It's a beautiful grill. And we're going to convert this to propane. So I'm already into it a little bit, but basically these are the orifices that we need to use for propane, which have a smaller tip on them. These are the ones I'm replacing that have a bigger tip. I'll show you the tip here in a minute. And here is the propane tip. Let's compare them actually. See, propane has a much bigger, natural gas has a much bigger orifice. The propane has a smaller tip. So these will go into these rails. I'm going to pull one off right now and show you how it's done. How to convert your Woodstone grill to propane. So we want to loosen up everything first. In here, it's 10 mil. So now we're also releasing the tube. I'm going to show you later on how I got into the whole machine, which was really simple. They really made this setup beautifully nice, made in the United States, Washington State. So that is loosened up. But we need to take off this nut. We need to still take off this nut. Now it's loose enough. Put this back in place for a second. Loosen the nut. Oh, hold on. I'm going to have to put down the phone. So here's your manifold coming out. And there are our orifices that we have to change out. Okay, this tube is nice and loose so we don't damage any of the original workings. And here I got a socket here that we can take this off with. Okay, I'm using an 11 mil deep wrench to take these off. Kind of securing it with my foot right here, so don't go anywhere. And out with the old one. There's our little manifold that will be going back in here shortly. So to ensure that we don't have any leakage, we're going to put some thread tape, and this is natural gas or propane gas thread tape. You want to be sure that you just get it on the threads and not inside, so that at some point it could block the orifice. See the little orifice there? So now we're replacing this after we've changed the orifices on it. The manifold is going back in. And just got to bolt it in and tighten it up. Okay, this little piece I've already changed, but this lives inside the end of the tube here for the pilot. So you need to change out this because it has also a smaller orifice for the pilot, right there. And here's the last one. It's just a little bit different because the tube has to come around this arm here for the solenoid valve. But the other three were exactly identical except for the way the tubes went. They just came out. This one, you're going to be careful when you take this off that you have two wrenches that you can loosen this up. And then once again, we still have the, here we go, we got the 10 millimeter nuts we need to take out. We got a little swivel end on my extension, makes it easy to get in there. Let's get the other one loose. Okay, they're both loose. Our tube is loose. Let's make sure our tube is loose at the top. Yes, it's loose. I need to pull this manifold out. And there you go. And then once again, we're going to change out these two orifices. And I have actually taken scissors and cut this thread tape to size so it would not get in the hole. You don't want it in the hole, and you don't want it on your end of your nut so you can get it back in. I've dropped the bottom pan of this so I can get to the orifices for the pilot lights. So here's the bottom, which we just had to loosen up these 4 screws and then take out the 2 middle screws right there. See the little spot form right there? And the whole bottom pan dropped out. And here is the manifold for the pilot. And here are the new tips that I'm going to put in for the pilot. These will work for propane. So there we are, set up with the pilot, the new orifices for the manifold for the pilot. The pilot comes back in up here. And then right there, see the 2 screws, well, 1 screw's down there, but 2 screws, screw that back in, and then that tube goes back on. And make sure when you're reinstalling this, see how 1 tube is on here and 1 tube is off. You gotta make sure that both tubes go back on when you put that manifold block back on for the pilot. So we're done with the orifices, so it's time to put the bottom pan back up. Regulator. We need to open up the regulator, and I've already done this, so I'm just going to show you what I did. See this little cone here? A little blurry, but this little cone comes off of this lid and then changes sides. It's pressed in. Here. Just take my word, it's pressed in, and then you just kind of pull it out and switch it around. Now it is set for propane, so it pushes the plunger farther out. And we replace this back into the regulator here, and then just snug. You don't need to get crazy and tight. It just needs to be snug. And then we checked all our fittings, made sure all our tubes are tight, all our nuts and bolts are tight, and we are ready to put the front panel back in. So when we replace the front panel, we got to make sure everything goes back in place. The plug needs to plug back into the plug. Each one of these plugs needs to plug back into its original spot, which is 4, 3, so make sure they're all in tight. So your clip goes in tight.
Yeah, just like this.
So this corner here is that corner?
No, that corner.
Okay. So, okay.
And there it is. The clip is in.
So the fridge will be on this wall.
So it's not coming back out.
That's the back.
Next, plug back the igniter for the pilot. And be sure to plug in the ground. There's a little ground wire right here.
Yeah, this is the front. So this goes in the corner.
The flat pin. Make sure it goes on good. Make sure that your plug for your igniter for your pilot is on good. Then we have this plug that's got to plug back in.
I mean, we're going to have to ask Jack and those guys to help us lift this down.
And let's inspect, make sure we got everything back in. Yep. And then it goes back up. And I'll put down the phone so I can put in. What a beautiful serviceable setup this is. 3 Phillips screws hold the whole control panel in. We'll tighten those up, and we're almost there. So the drip pans slide right back underneath here. Really positioned beautifully for cleaning. Well, I would love to have one of these. Woodstone is the one we've just converted to propane. Set for 1/4 inch. So we can pick up our hose here. tools that I used to complete this job. We have an 11mm deep socket, a 10mm standard socket, a ratchet wrench, 11mm open end wrench, 12.5 inch, 9/16, 5/8, 8mm or 5/16 little nut runner. And I use this tool to push out the little orifice directly inside the pilot. Oh yeah, here we go. Our grill is working. Now it's working off this bottle of propane. As you see, all the lights are on, and you can hear the gas flowing. So that is your tutorial on how to convert a gas grill to propane. Hope you can apply this. Well, thank you for joining me today at the office. This was a nice tutorial on how to change a natural gas grill into a propane grill. Hope you can use this information wisely. And you know what I say, please like, share, and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one.